Okay, we are here today for a very momentous occasion. We're looking at the first half of 2026, and we're going to look at what's happening in publishing, what's happening in the book world, what's happening in the world of thought leadership, specifically around thought leaders with books. So, any of you who are writing a book right now, you're thinking about writing a book. Many of you, like me, are launching a book in the second half of 2026. We're going to look at what's been happening in the first half of the year so that we can see some trends, we can see patterns, we can see what's going to be useful for us as authors, wherever we are in the process, whether you're thinking of doing a book, you have a book already out, or because those of you that have a book that came out a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, you're going to get something out of today too, because there's a whole trend around relaunching that we're going to talk about. So I'm thrilled to have you all join us. I'm so happy to be here together today for this special bonus training. And we're going to break down the first half of 2026, look at publishing trends. We're going to do some forecasting for what we're going to see in the second half of the year and beyond in books. This is a big topic. If I'm going to start predicting, 2027 and 2028, we'll do a whole nother session on that. But we're going to really dial in to first half of 2026. This is the last day in the second quarter of the year, which is really exciting because this is a hinge point. It's like this is the moment where, in January, we're like, oh, we have all these dreams and visions, and we make our vision boards or whatever we do to set intentions. And then we live life for 6 months. And now we've just had the longest day of the year. We are into this creative summer energy, and we've got 6 months to make this the best year of our lives so far. And we're coming in informed, right? We go into a new year, it's possibility. And now we're like wise, right? We're a little wise to the tonal nature of 2026. And we're going to see what to do to make the second half of 2026 the most magnetic, the most powerful, the most impactful, to do the most good, to lead the biggest movements, to do all the things. So I'm just thrilled that you're all here joining us on our new home on Substack. So this is really exciting. I am going to share my screen because I did create visuals. I think it's really helpful when we're talking about statistics and trends and numbers. I think it's really helpful to be able to look at things. And so we're going to look at things. All right. And we will provide for all of you who are in our Download Insiders. You're part of our paid Substack. This is a bonus training to everyone that we're doing. And those of you that are part of our Download Insiders, our paid subscription group, it's $47 for the entire year. Then you're going to get the slides from today. You will get invited to all the follow-up trainings. You will have more sessions like this and a whole bunch of all the other bonuses that come with that. So if you're not already a Download Insider, I hope you become one today. And we'll share the link now and later if you're not already. And also let's you be part of our street team for my upcoming book launch in October, because there's some really new things that I'm doing for the first time, some ways that we're working together with partners in exciting ways. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you. I want to stop this entire topic and just gush on everyone I love who's here, that I'm so happy to be here with right now. I'm just seeing you all joining the chat, and it's thrilling to be here with you all. Okay, so if I haven't had the chance to meet you on a live training before, I'm Sara Connell. I'm the founder of Thought Leader Media, and I am a soon to be, well, actually, we did already hit the bestseller list on Amazon in pre-order for my new books. I can say 7-time best-selling author and author of the new book, The Download, which is coming out in October. And this is the Download Show Substack channel. So we're so happy that you're here. Yeah, put in the chat those of you here live where you're Substacking in from, and we're just absolutely thrilled to have you. And again, our team just dropped the link. If you're not already a Download Insider, please consider joining us today, because we're going to have so many of these insider experiences and all the other bonuses that you get with that. So thrilled that you're here. Okay, let's get into it. So I'm a brain science-based coach and writer, and so we're going to rub our hands together like this. That sort of alerts both the right and left hemisphere of the brain that we're here to learn, that we're here to grow, that we're here to be inspired. And what I'm going to ask everyone at the end, we are going to probably go for the full hour with some time for Q&A. But I'm going to ask everybody when I finish the formal presentation part of today, what is the takeaway for you? I want this time together, this hour we spend together today to be extremely valuable for you. And so I want to ask you whether you're thinking about a book, you have a book already, or you're in process of getting ready to launch a book. I want you to think about the one takeaway from the trends we're going to explore that you are going to own. You're going to say, this is going to make my launch better, or my relaunch better, or my book writing better, or this was good because we want this to be time well spent. And I'm committed to that for you. So, oh my gosh, I truly just want to get in and say hi to everyone. I'm so happy to see you all here. All right. So here's how we are going to get into this. I've never done the screen sharing yet. So this is going to be super cool to test it out. And just like everything else, Substack makes it super easy. So, what I want to do though is make sure that I'm seeing what you guys see. All right. So, we are, let me get it where you're not looking at all the background stuff. So this is interesting because you have to toggle. So different than Zoom. I'm learning the differences here. So let me get here and go to slideshow. All right, so that should make it prettier. All right, we're good to go. Could any of you oh, yay, I love that. I love that. You already have a takeaway. Yes, Mo, absolutely. Um, that is so awesome. The Soul Code Show. All right, so we've got a download already, right? This is the download. The download book is coming out. So you can download something exciting today, an idea, an inspiration. Mo just got a download about how to call her channel the Soul Code Show with Coach Mo. You've got rhyme in there, Mo. That's amazing. Okay. Publishing up straight. This is 2026, the first half of 2026. All right. So what are we going to learn today? We're going to learn what the trends are. We're going to learn what's happening in publishing. We're going to learn how to apply it to our own lives and launches. All right. In the first half of 2026, we saw that audiobooks are fast growing. No shock. They've been fast growing for a long time, but we're seeing 20% growth over a year. It's the fastest growing segment in publishing. Not a surprise to anyone, right? How many of you like to listen to your books? Maybe just ask, let us know in the chat if you like to listen. I was just leading our retreat in France for our thought leader retreat in France. So écoutez, if you like to écouter your books and listen to your books, let me know. And that's one of the trends we're seeing. Okay. So yes, we know audiobooks are important and popular, but they're growing at a 20%, increase even over last year, which was already high. Right. So just something to think about if you are going to do a book, definitely plan on doing an audiobook, right? I think most of us know this, no big surprise. Also, self-publishing. This is interesting. It's reached a $2 billion market threshold, and it's growing 6% a year. Okay. So self-publishing is now generating $2 billion a year. Pretty interesting, just to have some numbers around that to me. Okay. And what does that mean? Because it's a $2 billion industry, it's more respected, it's more reputable. Higher profile people are turning down, like the big one last year. I think it was Taylor Swift turned down all the book deals from the major publishers and said, forget that, I'm self publishing. Obviously, why would she give away 90% of her profits? Because she already has a platform and an audience that will buy anything she does. And so that was the move. We don't all have to be Taylor Swift, but it is becoming, even more with every passing year, like much more legitimized if that's the way you want to go, right? This is interesting. 30% of independent authors, so these are authors who self-publish, who hybrid publish, they're choosing to sell their books primarily from their own websites. So they keep 90 to 95% of the sales. So they're printing the books, they're selling them on their own websites instead of sending people to Barnes& and Noble, Amazon, other retailers. And then, because remember, if you haven't done a book yet, Barnes& and Noble and Amazon are going to discount the books 50, 53%. And you must make them discountable. Otherwise, those retailers will not stock your book, right? It's non-negotiable. So it's pretty fascinating that you are, you know, you're making a choice as an author. If you have enough traffic to your website, if you're a speaker, if you have people coming to your website for other things, that's a move that you might. Now you have to deal with fulfillment, like getting the books shipped versus someone just ordering Amazon Prime. But it's interesting to just see 30% is actually a pretty high number, right? Instead of people just pulling through, the other retailers. So not that you have to do this, but it's just something to look at. What are a lot of independent authors doing? And I'd be curious if any of you here who have books out. I know we've got some very esteemed people in publishing. AJ Harper is here, and just some other, very serial bestsellers and writers of bestsellers. Is anyone doing, like, sending all their book traffic to their own site? I'm curious. Let us know in the chat. Um, that's super interesting, right? I never usually want to get into the fulfillment business and deal with shipping stuff. So I'm very happy to send people to the retailers. And remember, if you're going for certain bestseller lists, this is just a different move, if you want to be driving the traffic. But if your book's been out for a while, you've done whatever bestseller list you want to do, and this is a move you want to make, and you've got a process in place. I know Myron Golden, who I've spoken with before, is he really promotes his books heavily on his YouTube channel, where he has a big following. And the last time I spoke with him at an event 2 years ago, he said he was making um, 30,000 plus a month off book sales by sending people from his YouTube channel to his website, buying the books directly from him. So 30K plus, some months like 100K a month from book sales. So something to think about. All right. What else do we got? All right. Self-publish first, get a big book deal with a major publisher later is a real big thing. And we'll talk about why. It's not any kind of rocket science to figure out why, but let's just think about this. Traditional publishers, if they're going to acquire an author, are making a big investment. There might be an advance. If you're a higher profile person with a bigger platform, there will be a sizable advance. And they're paying for all the things, the editing, the proofreading, the cover design, and all the stuff, right? And so they are going to be much more likely to want to look at how a book does first. And if it does well, then they swoop in and say, hey, we'll do a second edition. And but it is something I get asked about all the time. Can I self-publish first if I don't want to get an agent, or I don't get an agent, get a book deal, and then have a major publishing house pick me up? And the answer is yes, as we're going to see in our case study today. Okay. So that's just being proven many, many times. I also want to take a pause here, because this is speaking to something that's deeper. All right. The major publishing houses watching self-published authors and then offering book deals if a book does well is not new. Okay, that's been happening for many, many, many. Yeah, Dario's completely right. If you don't have a community or anyone to sell to, it doesn't matter if you sell through traditional or not traditional. You know what I mean? Like, if no one knows about your book, then it's not going, to get that impact and that reach. Which is why those of you that train with us in our thought leader programs know, that's why we talk about how to build the audience and leverage other people's audience. Yep. Yeah, Dana, we're going to get into, or Dana, we're going to get into Theo Golden next. We're going to do a little case study on Theo Golden, because it's, of course, Theo on Golden. It's an outlier, but it's also an interesting case study from this year. Yep. And Pauline Erickson is asking, what when we say what numbers is doing well? Okay, well, Pauline, let's put this in some perspective. The average book sells under 200 copies in its entire lifetime. The majority of books, right? And that's what Dario is talking about. People, it's the people that have heard of you or know you or that happen to find out about you. They buy your book and that's it, right? And that is, I know AJ's here, AJ Harper's here, who's my soul sister and a phenomenal writer and writing coach and editor and teacher and all the things. That is tragic. That's tragic to put all of that work into a book and have it just reach a certain amount of people. Now we all get to define our success the way we want to. But I don't think any of us on this particular training today are going to be happy with, 200 books total in our lifetime, right? So what we are thinking about, I mean, it depends. It's all relative, right? So Pauline, for you, it might be like, oh my gosh, selling 1,000 books would be phenomenal, like touching 1,000 people through my book, right? And someone else might say, you know, selling 10,000 books is phenomenal. And someone else might say, I'm going to sell 1,000,000 books. So, in terms of what a publisher considers a book doing well, well, they're going to want to see early pre-sales, right? They're going to want to see pre-sales in over 1,000, 2,000, something like that. That's what I'm working on right now with my book coming out in October. And then you're going to want to see, like publishers that I've talked to start getting excited when they see, 4,000 gets you on the USA Today bestseller list, 4 to 6,000 books in a week. And then if you hit over 10,000, that's definitely something that not a ton of books do. And you get to, 20,000, especially at the beginning of your launch. And that's, where people are hitting the New York Times bestseller list. Okay. So it's really all relative to what your goals are. And all of our goals get to be different, right? For some of us, we're writing a book to let people know about our methodology and attract dream clients. Some of us are using a book to get credibility and visibility as an industry leader, to be featured as a topic expert in the media, to be a keynote speaker and getting paid to speak, right? Which almost always requires you to have a book, and all kinds of other things, attract strategic partners. So my win is different than your win is different than someone else's. And those of you that train with us in our book writing programs know that we start with your ideal book outcomes. What are the doors you want your book to open? What's the win for you, others who read it, and the world at large that experience the impact of your book? We look at all three of those things: you, your reader, and the world at large, your legacy. And so these are all really important questions. And I would never define for anyone else what a good number is. And I don't define myself by what other people think a good number is. I have a goal for each book, and it's based on a lot of different things about the impact and results I want to create, right? So that's something that's, if you haven't trained with us, I'd love to hear in the chat, for the book you either are writing or you're thinking of writing, what is your ideal book outcome? What do you want that book to do for you? Do you want it? What doors do you want it to open? Is it new clients? Is it a certain income threshold? Is it speaking? Is it media? Is it creating new strategic partnerships and opening other, opportunity doors? Is it, you know, something that you just know you have to do? It's burning inside you. So maybe everyone put in the chat the number one thing for you. Yeah, Dario, I'm just reading your comment. Yep. Yeah, that's beautiful, Dario. You're creating a community that's gonna launch it with you. That's a beautiful thing to do. Yep. Yes, exactly. Rebecca Tolbert's number one book outcome, helping thousands of women build resilience and hope. And Rebecca is an incredible teacher, especially, helping people who, have really probably been, Rebecca, would you say pathologized about, their ADHD and other things, and, showing like, hey, how you do it is great. And here's how you can do it in a way that works for you. I love it. Yeah, shifting consciousness, Julie, with your incredible book. Oh my gosh, we're looking at Julie's book covers. It's getting so real, so close. Yep, that's so beautiful, Sonia. Your ideal book outcome, you've overcome trauma, and anyone can, that you give that message to people with God in your life. That's beautiful. Okay, so let's keep going. What else are we going to see here? All right. Um, Maybe this is interesting surprise, maybe it's not, but earned media, like where you pitch podcasts or get placed through, public relations on feature articles or TV media, is way outperforming ads, which I love because I teach thought leadership. Like I built our business to $1 million a year and more, and without any paid ads. Now, I think ads are great and you should use them and use them whenever you want. But in terms of book selling, really you being featured on podcasts and interviewed in the media is way outperforming like book funnels where you're running ads to your book. So, not to say don't do ads, but just, something to think about. All right. Um, Also something that's big topic of conversation, sort of end of 25 into 2026. It's been like at the, the forefront of our zeitgeist of our conversation, owning your channel. Email and Substack are way higher converting right now than any other social media platform. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Now we'll talk about Book Talk. It's a little bit different animal, but places where you own your email list and Substack because you get emails. That's why we've moved everything over here. We love it. Substack and YouTube. Favorite channels. Okay. YouTube, we don't own, right? That's not, I don't own my 100,000 subscribers to my YouTube channel, but email and Substack, that's where we're not renters, we're owners, right? So if you're not already on Substack, I'm so excited you're here now for this training, and you might want to have a presence here of your own if you don't already. Probably most of you do that are on here. All right. Um, Funnels and book portals, right? So that's like your book website or having an online funnel where people take a few steps online from social media, other things. They're really working on converting warm fans. So the emphasis on, like Daria was saying, you must build your audience and your brand first. And then spend your money, if you're going to run ads, on only retargeting the people that have consumed something of your brand first and bring them into some kind of an online funnel. Okay, this is a distinction. This is different. And again, this is just looking at stats from the first half of the year. So what that looks like is if you are going to run ads to just you organically, a podcast episode, your TEDx talk, something where you're not asking them to do anything, buy anything. They're just consuming you. They're consuming your brand. They're getting to know what you stand for. They're reading your Substack articles, right? And then if you're going to run ads to a funnel that invites people to buy a book or to join a program or book a call, your best money spent is going to be in just only running ads to those people that have consumed your brand already first. Okay? If you're not into this stuff, you ads and you don't have funnels and everything, just tune it out. Do like the Charlie Brown voice, wah, 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 wah. But those of you that are, have coaching, how many of you have a product, program, or service that goes with your book, either your current book or the book that you're going to write? Okay, so it's like people read the book and you have somewhere that they go after they read the book, or you will. A membership, a community, a coaching program, a retreat. There's something that you would like people to do after they read your book, and you're using the book to let people know about your methodology, to create connection with them, to get that credibility and visibility. Yes, get your 7 hours of interactive time that people need before they make a purchase decision. Okay. So that's something to think about for all of you, because you don't want to spend any ad dollars necessarily and just right away into a funnel. You want to get people consuming your brand and then only retarget those people. And I could do a whole nother training on that. We could bring Crystal Johnson in, who's our Facebook ad specialist, and she could talk about how you could do that. And it's, guess what? Yay, way less money. Your cost per lead is so much less because you're retargeting, not cold traffic. Okay. So just saying, for those of you that are into ad stuff, you don't have to. Like I said, I grew to $1 million a year, many years, no ads. So I did it all through thought leadership, and you can do it whatever path you want to take. I love this. Rebecca's getting a download on, she could lead people from a book to a retreat. 100%. There are whole best-selling authors who that's the main thing they lead people to from their work. They read the book, they come on an in-person event, a retreat. Martha Beck's done that with a lot of her books. Denise Duffield Thomas, many people. We have, so super cool. Okay, awesome. All right, what's next? What else are we going to find out? Remember, you're taking notes and listening for something that's relevant to you. Okay, this is a cool trend. Backlist relaunches, where old books become new again. Huge trend in the first half of 2026. Why is that good? It's good because if you think you had 3 months to launch your book and then after that it sits on a shelf and never gets to work for you again, not cool. but relaunches are really having a moment right now. Okay. And we'll talk about where and which platforms. We teach that in the Monetize Your Book Club, in our thought leader programs. We teach relaunching all the time. You didn't have the launch you wanted? Guess what? You get to do a take two. But we're really seeing it in the marketplace working this year. All right, now let's do a little case study on Theo of Golden. Everyone's talking about. I have not, just full disclosure, I've not read this book. I know some people love it, some people hate it, but let's just say the man has, done very, very well. Okay. So if you don't know the story, Alan Levy, a first time novelist, self published Theo of Golden in 2023, right? He sold 175,000 copies with no publisher, solely by word of mouth, doing live readings and just networking in his community. Okay? The traction and the 175,000 sales got the attention of Simon and Schuster, an imprint of Simon and Schuster called I don't know if they pronounce it Atria or Atria. Someone might know. And so in October of 2025, Simon and Schuster re-releases or does like a second edition, and he's now over 1 million copies, 17 plus weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. Okay. So what could you learn from this? What could we take away from this? Right? First, it proves that you can self-publish first and then get a major book deal later, right? Answering that question that I know I get asked a lot. Those of you in the book space, you might also. Also, that it is possible. I know he's an outlier. Okay, let's just be very clear. I'm a big, I don't like when people put up outlier cases as the norm because it's not honest. This is not the norm, right? There are many, 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 many self-published books that didn't go on to sell 175,000 copies organically and then get a big book deal and, then get on the New York Times. It also shows you can get on the New York Times bestseller list with a relaunch, right? Simon and Schuster relaunched this because he wasn't traditionally published the first time. Now he's traditionally published. And so he was able to make the New York Times, which is super exciting and cool for him, right? So maybe put an insight into the chat, like what strikes you about this case study. Again, this is an outlier, but the principles underneath and the questions that it answers for us apply to everyone. You can self-publish first. You can get traction on a book even without a major publisher behind you. You can get a book deal later. You can make the New York Times bestseller list later if you do, right? So anything is possible, right? It's exciting. And whether you're going to read the book or not, I don't know if I'm going to read the book, but I have a big, long reading list of things that I'm excited to read. But bravo to him. And this is a gentleman later in life. It also proves, right? This case study, Alan Levi, how old was he? If someone remembers, I had that in my other notes. He was not 20 under 20. He's not under 30. He's not under 40. He's not under 50. Right? He was in his 70s, is what I thought. Yep. Right? Yay, Rosalind's here. All right. So 70s. So this is an example of it's not too late. You're not too old. It's okay if you didn't get a book deal right away. It's okay. Like it shows us many different things that are, could be super interesting. So I want everyone to think about Julie's takeaway was anything is possible. What's yours? All right. What else did we learn here? He didn't wait for permission, right? Friends of his were like, you should publish this. He didn't wait for permission. He self-published and built the proof. He believed in it. He started talking about it. This happened with the book Orphan Train a number of years ago. Same thing. She got rejected. Something like I was at an event speaking with the author of Orphan Train. I think she said she got rejected by 200 agents. Right? The book comes out. She starts doing library readings, starts doing small group book clubs, and it just sort of snowballed right on up to the New York Times bestseller list. Right? And he really focused on what Dario was saying on like connecting with real people and just gaining traction that way. Right? And again, this isn't the norm, but we can all do what he did, which is don't wait for permission. We build the proof. We focus on really connecting with readers and we let a grassroots movement grow. Right? Really cool. Okay. Now we're gonna go to a different trend about relaunching, and this made a lot of headlines that there was and there's many books on Book Talk this has happened to, but there's a particular, book that launched 10 years ago and then became a bestseller again. So let's just talk about Book Talk. I haven't focused on Book Talk. I'm not an expert. We're gonna bring an expert in to those of you who are training with us. If you're a download insider, or you're gonna become one today, then you will get to come to the Book Talk training, right? So we can learn more about it, those of you that want to. I've done some training in it, but 59 million sales coming in through Book Talk. $760 million plus dollars in the United States in 2024. Okay. So we don't have stats for 26 yet. This was a 2024 stat and it has grown. 50 million copies sold across Europe through Book Talk. And then the book It Ends With Us, which was published in 2016, hit number 1 years later just because of Book Talk. This is a number I want us to pay attention to, besides just that it's driving 59 million in print sales. 70% of books sold on Book Talk are backlisted. They're old books getting in front of brand new readers. Old books in front of brand new readers. Okay? So you can think about if you've got a book that came in, how many of you have an old book? Right? Like I'm bringing out my 7th new book, or my next book comes out in October, but I've written 6 other books that are now older books. So how many of you have an older book? Put in the chat, old book, OB, right? You have a book that came out over a year ago or more. Okay? So if you have a book that came out over a year ago or more, this could be a move that you're interested in. Maybe, maybe not. But just know that you're not stymied. It's not done. The ship hasn't sailed. You know, the the opera isn't over. And if you have an older book, this is something you might want to think about. And it's not just Book Talk. Let's say you don't want to be on Book Talk. Fine. How can you get your book in front of new audiences in the second half of 2026? Because you're not done till you're done. You get to choose when it's done. And you can have a whole relaunch and a whole research. Again, those of you that are in our thought leader programs, you have access to we have a whole template on relaunching, how to do it, what to do, how to put it together, how to make it successful, all the things. Okay. So this is kind of cool, right? Old books becoming new again. So no one has to give up on your book, whether it's 3 months old or 3 years or, 10 years. One thing you want to think about, if you do, this is what's working best on Book Talk in particular. You'll want to refresh the cover, update the description, and get new keywords and categories. You got to freshen it up. And then a trend that's working really well is to make one emotional specific video, like a scene from your book or a reaction, not a sales pitch, not like, here's all the reasons to buy my book, but an emotionally driven specific video about a scene in your book or a reaction or an anecdote in your book, not a sales pitch. Seed it with your readers and street team. If you're on Book Talk, you're going to reply to every comment, because every time someone comments and you reply, it feeds the algorithm and gets more eyeballs on your book. And then you can relaunch with like sort of a special price and a clear why now. Your book came out 3 years ago or 10 years ago. It's like, why is it important again? And we teach this in all our programs. You guys know that are studying with us. We talk about what's the hook right now, what's the urgency, what makes it irresistible and important now. Yeah, Miriam, if for nonfiction books like I'm writing and all of us, you're not going to read a scene because, well, you could read a client story. That's a scene. You could read a scene from your origin story because that's a scene. But if you are doing a nonfiction book, you're going to pick out like something important, maybe a moment when you discovered the framework that you teach, or your aha moment when you needed to write the book, or you're going to just do an emotionally driven video about your book. Yep. Okay. Awesome. The last thing we're going to cover before we do some application and some Q&A is changes to Amazon reviews. Okay, this is super important. If you haven't heard this yet, I want to give it to you here because a lot of authors are feeling very frustrated because reviews that people are very kindly posting for them are getting rejected. So I want to tell you exactly what Amazon is going to reject and how to fix it. Okay, can we put fix in the chat if that sounds good? We're going to learn what Amazon um, what Amazon requires now on Amazon reviews and the things that they're dinging that they didn't used to ding, and then we're going to fix it. Okay. So Amazon really has ramped up this automated detection. So they're ironically using AI to catch what they consider a fake review, but they're actually rejecting a lot of legitimate reviews, like a lot. And there's a lot of delays and people are getting really frustrated. Okay. And this is just really in the last couple months. So here is what the Amazon bots are going to reject. If there's a burst of reviews in the first day or two. Now, that's not really fair because then you might be running a review party at your launch and there is a burst of reviews and those are real reviews. But they're going to think, oh, this is some kind of, trying to hack the algorithm. Maybe these are bots, maybe it's fake, and they're going to reject them. If you're offering your 99% or free ebook, 99-cent or free ebook, which many of us do, and I highly recommend this strategy at launch because you want just lots of new people to check out your book. If someone downloads that ebook and they've only had it for 5 minutes and they post a review, it's out. Oh my gosh, look at the Zoom making balloons. Okay. So they know it's like your friends, just like downloading it, trying to be nice, post your review, and it's getting rejected. Okay. Reviews for books that the reviewer never bought, that's not new, but I just want to include it on the list of like the person needs to, even more so. It used to be that if you had an Amazon account, like you were an Amazon Prime and you bought something on Amazon, you could post a review for a book even if you didn't purchase the book on Amazon. Nope, not now. All right. Obviously, one account posting many reviews at once. So, like, let's say I'm in a group called Rich Relationships with Selena Sue. Some of you here are in that group also with me, and we might all say, "Oh, we're going to all get together and do a review party for AJ's new book," and we're like. Also, I'm going to spend an hour just posting reviews for everyone in Rich Relationships who just had a book come out. Like I just block an hour on my calendar. Well, that's a problem now because even though that's legitimate, I might have bought all their books, read through some of their books. If I post 10 reviews in an hour because I've time blocked, that's going to get flagged. So you got to space it out. Okay. If you sent a bunch of people the PDF of your book or outside copies like galleys or print copies that they didn't buy on Amazon, and then they put a book review on Amazon, not going to fly. And that kind of sucks because, like, let's say I'm at someone's book event, I get their book in person. I still need to make sure I get that ebook on Kindle if I want to post an Amazon review for them, which I do, but good to know. And then certainly AI, like written reviews, if it's obvious AI, if Amazon's, the irony, if the robots detect a robot wrote it, they'll reject it. Okay. So just like to keep in mind some rules of thumb, no review inside 24 hours of finishing the ebook, steady pacing. So think of instead of trying to get 100 reviews in a day, you're going to try to get one review a day for 100 days. Yeah, Dana, it's funny. We are focusing a lot on Goodreads reviews right now because we don't want to deal with so much of this stuff. So right now, Goodreads is a little more reviewer friendly. Right. But I also think people were abusing Goodreads a lot less. I think Goodreads was getting a lot of legitimate reviews, whereas Amazon, people were hacking the system. But the problem is they're rejecting so many legit ones, as you can see, right? Okay, so what are we going to do about it? 6 ways to protect your reviews. Well, or 4. Hold on. I cut this down to 4. So pardon that typo there. Prioritize verified purchases. Just make sure anyone who's going to be kind enough to leave you a review buys it through Amazon. They get the book via Kindle, not a PDF, so Amazon can see real page reads. They're literally having the AI scan how many pages your e-reader has moved. Kid you not. All right. Invite people to post reviews in a measured pace, not having a whole bunch of people come together and post reviews at once, especially in the first 24 to 48 hours. Remind everyone, I'm going to give you a template to send people so you don't have to like really think about this, but We don't want anyone posting a review within 24 hours of finishing the ebook. Remember, they are not going to count if I buy, Miriam's ebook and I don't open it and I post a review, it's getting rejected. And then just human being, write 2 to 3 honest sentences, don't have the AI write it. And just a 5 kind of PS, approval now can take days to weeks, not hours. So we had one of our authors launched in May, and he's texting me and he's like, Sara, this is insane. What's wrong? Like, why? My people are, they posted their reviews 2 days ago and they're not up yet. They all did come through because I had sent him how to make it safe, but they just took longer to get approved and posted. That's just how it is right now. So yeah, if you just want to skip it and go to Goodreads, you can. Okay, so here is a done for you review request. All right. Those of you who are in our Download Insiders, you're part of our annual membership here. It's only $47 for the entire year. And you get all these kind of trainings and everything that we're doing, like this and the download toolkit, all kinds of awesome things. You'll also get the slides. We'll be able to send those to you, but otherwise we don't have access to you. So be sure, please, to join us as a subscriber here. Okay. So here's what you can send. And those of you who you don't want to join us, you can just take a screenshot, but if you want the slide to be able to cut and paste it, a quick favor, how to make your review stick, right? You can change this into your own words. Hi, thank you so much for offering to review. Put your book title. It genuinely makes a difference. Amazon recently tightens how it filters reviews. So here's a few small things that will make sure yours post and stay up. Buy your copy through Amazon, and then it goes through what to help them, how to do it well. This means the world to me, your name. Okay. So we've just posted the link. If you do want to join us as a Download Insider, just use the link in the chat. We'll send it out to you. We'd love to have you be, regular members here with us to do this great work in your thought leadership and support you in getting your downloads and turning those into high converting thought leader assets. So this is what you can send people if you want to support them in giving you reviews that stick. Or like some of you, just go to Goodreads. But look, Amazon reviews are the most, that's what the majority of people, Goodreads has got your hardcore readers. Amazon is everyone's going to check. And if you haven't done my Amazon training, right? People look at the cover first. They look at the description, what the book's about second. And then they look at reviews. It's a third most important thing to make a buying decision on your book. Thumbnail, what it's about, what do people say about it? So they are important. And I want you all to get them approved and not have hassles and kind of teeth gnashing, hair pulling, frustration, right? We don't have to. We're going to just teach it differently and instruct the lovely humans in our life that are generous enough to give us reviews how to do it in a way that's going to work. Okay? So let's do a little Q&A. Put in the chat other comments, other questions that you have. And then in a minute, I'm going to ask everyone to think about your takeaway from the trends about self-publishing, about audiobooks, about what else did we cover today? Book talk and relaunching, about prove it first, get a big deal later. Let's see what else is percolating for everybody. And I'm just going to do a quick. Oh my gosh, Christy's saying that she's heard bots on Amazon are sending negative reviews. How rude. I hope not. I haven't heard of that, but anything's possible. Yeah, and Miriam's making the comment that there were companies that were letting you pay for reviews, and there were, and it was, it kind of made everyone, made life hard for everyone. How rude of them, right? How rude of them. Okay. So put any questions you have in the chat, and then I want to hear. Okay. So Michelle and team, could you help the payment page isn't working for at least one person to join us as download insiders. So we'll get to work on that. And then here's a QR code too we can try. So for those of you that aren't already joining us as a Substack download insider, I have a QR code for it. Let me just see if it'll work. So if you stay in this conversation with us, you get the full download toolkit. So what are downloads? Downloads are those delicious solutions, breakthroughs, ideas, aha moments, miracles, the clarity on a decision. Those are those things that come to us beyond ordinary thought. Like we don't just get to it by logically thinking about it. We have to create a state, a brain state where we are available to receive those delicious genius ideas from our creative imaginal brain, from consciousness. Okay. So your toolkit is going to give you how to get a download in the next 24 hours, the complete methodology, because the book's not out yet. And I want you to have to wait. It's going to give you a 30-day brain science based download tracker. So you're going to train your brain to have these downloads on demand, creative ideas, solutions, clarity, aha moments, innovative ideas. It's based on research out of Stanford, research out of Harvard, research out of some of the top neuroscientists and physicists in the world. It's a really exciting methodology. So you're going to get the method, you're going to get the brain science-based trainer and tracker, and then you're going to get to come to all of these kind of trainings. We did this today as a gift to everyone, and our insider publishing updates, and you're going to get the whole behind the scenes of my book launch coming up in October, all the different templates and what's working. You're going to see all the behind the scenes. You're going to get your own downloads, and those of you doing books are going to get empowered with not just the information like today, but the tools to implement. Okay, so we're really excited about that. Longer insider briefings, trends, all the different things behind the scene of the download tour, what we're learning, and then you get the download tools. Okay, here is the QR code. So $47 for the entire year. You can use the QR code, or if that link wasn't working in the chat, you can use that. And this is super exciting because I'm going to do a special training on a neuroscience-based way to make the next 6 months the best 6 months of your life so far. Okay, so that sounds really grandiose and exaggerated, but we're going to look at what we set out to do in the beginning of 2026. We're going to reset and create a new year, right? A new year between now and the end of the year. And if there's anything you feel like you're off track on, or anything that you set out to do that you don't want anymore, this is your chance to reset instead of kind of dragging your old goals and anything you're holding against yourself into the second half of the year. So we're going to be doing that next week, which I'm really excited about. Okay. So be sure to join us. And then you get everything. You get all the stuff we're going to do, all these bonus trainings and all the tools for the whole year for $47. So yeah, Chris is like, my brain needs training. Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, amazing. Yep. And anybody who's having any issues joining, if the QR code or the link aren't working, Michelle, if you could put your email address in the chat here and just send us an email, and we will manually help you if we have to. Okay. We're not leaving anybody behind. Okay. No one is being left behind. So just, actually you can just send an email to care@saraconnell.com. We're also going to be teaching our Substack strategies. We have so much cool stuff we get to do together. Just send us an email, Sara Connell. There you go. And let us know that you're wanting to join, be a download insider, but you just need some help getting signed up, and we will help you. All right. What other questions do we have? All right. What is your takeaway? What is your takeaway today from what we covered in publishing trends? Self-publishing is now a $2 billion industry, right? Book Talk is a really powerful platform, but in general, relaunching is a big deal and it's working. Getting your book in front of new audiences that didn't know about it the first time, having the launch you wish you had. My God, I want launch do-overs for all my books. So I'm making this one my launch do-over for the download, right? It's a lot. We give ourselves a hard time. We have launch shame, launch regret. So we get to fix that with relaunching. Okay? We talked about audiobooks on the rise. And I want to give a shout out also. I know I've been high-fiving virtually AJ Harper, who's here, and I'm so honored, AJ, that you're here. I was leading our thought leader adventures. We do an international retreat once a year in different countries. We've done the Greek islands, we've done Italy in Tuscany, we did the south of France. I was there last week. And one of the women, AJ, which yay, thanks for joining us, Chris. One of the women on it was like, I'm reading this amazing book called How to Write a Must Read by AJ Harper. And I was like, I love it so much. And so, AJ, if you were feeling the love from across the ocean, we were all gushing about you and your wonderful book. So, amazing, amazing. So, thank you. I'm so excited. All of you who are here and who are joining us as Download Insiders. We are going to get your nervous system regulated. We're going to get you out of cognitive overload, and we're going to get some downloads. Okay. So, I want to hear your takeaway. And if you don't have one, and you've been sitting here for almost an hour thinking, I don't know, this doesn't really apply to me, then I want you to tell me in the chat that nothing applies, that what we've talked about, because then I want to come up with something. You are leaving here with a download. And the download we're calling in for each of you is something you can learn from the first half of 2026 that you can apply to your current or upcoming book in the second half of the year. Okay. So I want to hear, I know Mo got a new name for her show, right? That's exciting. That's a great download. Rebecca shared that she got a download about, wow, I could have my book lead to a retreat. Super exciting download. Right? Who else? Like, what's your download? Okay. Mary Lou, you now know you've got a relaunch in your future. Mary Lou, can I be an annoying coach and say, by when? Do you want to set, like, just set a launch month, a relaunch month, just to give you some like buy-in on a subconscious level? You don't need to. I mean, just, you all know that work with me. You can tell me to F off anytime I ask ask questions like this, right? But if it feels empowering, Mary Lou, to say, I'm going to do a relaunch by the end of the year. By the end of 2026, I will have relaunched my book, or in November. Julie, you felt like that was your takeaway. Your download is about the info and reviews and the critical strategies. Great. Yeah, Mary Lou, I think it just depends, like, how much you want to do for your launch. Like, if you feel it's really about, like, how much runway you need. It's really a runway question for me when I decide about a launch or a relaunch. How much runway do I need to achieve the result I want? So sometimes that might be 2 months, and then sometimes it might be a year. Lacey, you're feeling overwhelmed. Okay, Lacey, for those of you still writing, put the blinders on and park this in a for future reference. Okay, Lacey, because you're in our Monetize Your Book Club. You've got me all year long. You're here, like we'll just like park this for after you write. All right. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Julie, your download is to trust yourself in your launching process. Great. Yep, Mo, I'm seeing 10,000 book sales, funnel flowing to Soul Code program, and more activity for Soul Code pre-launch and street team with your coaching alumni. Love it. You're going to really galvanize your alumni. Mo is a phenomenal. Mo's a download book tour partner. Mo's got phenomenal work. You're going to be, those of you part of this book tour, you're going to get to learn, some of Mo's meditation techniques, and Mo galvanize those alums to be your street team. I love that. That's a great overwhelm. Great overwhelm. I'm reading someone else's comment about Lacey's about overwhelm. It's a great, great download. Chris, you're clear on your upcoming book for the end of the year. No way you're launching the same week as I am. Okay. And you're going to model Kelly Roach and how I'm launching book. Great. So use my playbook, Kelly's playbook, combine them, and then you pick your launch month. Okay. That's phenomenal. And it looks like from the team that the download Substack link should be working for those of you that want to join us and upgrade to our insiders. Okay, let me see who else got a download. Rosalind, you got a title or subject for your next book, The Wealthy Old Woman's Guide to Living Greatly. Rosalind, Rosalind is a phenomenal Enneagram expert. She's a renowned former therapist. She is a best-selling author. Rosalind's amazing. That's wonderful, Rosalind. I love it. The Wealthy Old Woman's Guide to Living Greatly. How fabulous. Yes, Sonia, you don't have to. Okay. I want to be really clear. There's no absolutes. I'm just saying I coach a lot of people who want to be authors, speaker, thought leaders, like they're doing the triple threat. And many times I get calls from people who are being considered for a keynote and they're told they need a book first. So they come in a panic and we get their book done really quickly for them. Okay? So it just depends on what kind of speaking you want to do. If you want to do like corporate keynotes, they're 95% of the time they want you to have a book, right? So don't anyone take this as defeat. You can go out and start speaking tomorrow. A friend owns a yoga studio, you have someone who, a community that has a virtual community, go speak to them, right? They're not requiring you to have a book. It just helps a lot. And I coach a lot of people that want to really be author, speaker, expert. All right. Terry Ann, you're getting daily downloads as you write your chapters. Yes. And you're in our Gamma group. So you're getting, yes, all to go with your book. And you're going to do a masterclass to go with your book, The Art of the Shapeshift. I love it. Terry Ann's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant practitioner, emotional freedom technique. This is a powerhouse group on here today. And I love this. I love this. There's about almost 70 of us doing this training today. You guys are awesome. Okay. Yeah, Miriam, you're in the Gamma group. You're downloading every day. I know. Gamma group's like the next, that's when you want to do the book, right? You can read the book, you can come do the book. I love it. I love, love, love. Okay. Anybody else have a download that you want to share before we go? Download from the first half of the year, relaunching. Anyone interested? How many of you want me to bring in a book talk expert for our insiders? Do you want someone to come in and break? I mean, we brought someone in last year just to talk about the whole process of how you get people to promote your book who are already on Book Talk, because Book Talk isn't about you necessarily going and promoting as much as it is about getting people that have book channels that review books to promote your book on their channels. Okay, I want to hear how many, because if it's enough people, I'm going to bring someone in. If not, we don't need to do it, but I want to know how many of you are really interested. Okay. All right. That's going to be a bonus for everybody that signs up to be an insider today. And if you had problems with the link, we'll count that whenever our team can get back to you. Okay. All right. Yeah. And Julie, you'll get the street team training in the thought leader programs that you're in. Yep. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Amazing. All right. So that's a yes. Any last question? Burning desires? Put it in the chat. I want to hear what you need, hear what you're walking away with. I'm so happy to be with you all. Who was this their very first time doing something with us? Like, is it my very first time being in a virtual room with you? Please put first so I can just do an extra, extra, extra thank you for spending, all of you. It is such an honor. We know how precious time is and how many things compete for our attention. And so to have all of you here with us is such a tremendous honor today. I'm just newer to Substack and we've just moved all of our lives and everything over here. So this is just really exciting. So yay, welcome to all of our very first time being together. I know many of you I've had the privilege of getting to coach and work with on your books already. And I'm so honored that you're here and being with us. Last thing before we go, we talked about the importance in a recent training. So some of you were on that training about people wanting analog, things that are off screen, off virtual, offline. So again, that's a big, marker for like physical books that we want to hold in our hand, as well as the digital books and the audio books. But we have just opened registration for our in-person event in October. So this is going to celebrate the download. If you want to be live when the download book launches in New York City with us for download day and for women starting movements, it is not just for women. It's just that's our legacy event that we've done for about a decade. That's going to be October 6th and 7th. We'll have a little welcome party on the 5th. And so please do sign up to come with us. We have early registration open just right now, just for a couple more weeks. So, and these events do sell out because it's a physical room with limited space. It's not unlimited space in the room. And so if you are not already signed up for New York City, make sure that you get your ticket if you want to be together in person with us. We are so, so, so excited. Yay. Oh my gosh, I love this. Who else is coming? Yeah, put NYC. Those of you that are already signed up for us, we just opened registration from France. I had to negotiate the contract with the venue. We're going to be in the Flatiron District in New York City. We're going to be doing this incredible experience where you're going to learn advanced techniques of getting downloads. You're going to get your, we're going to do neuroscience of success. We're going to do a download lounge where you're going to get to like do these incredible download practices in real time, try out the cool tech, and meet our download partners. And then we're going to be empowering and activating your movement, whatever the movement is that you're here to lead. Your book's a piece of that, but your movement is so much bigger than the book. And we're going to be learning the latest strategies in writing and publishing and being a topic expert in the media and monetizing. Okay. So we're going to have this incredible thought leader event. It's going to be at the future of thought leadership. And I'm so excited that, that so many of you are coming. Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. We're so thrilled and honored. We hope to see you again in the Insiders. And, yes, can we put the link for registration again, Michelle, just before we get off? Sorry, I just got something in my eye. New York City, yes, October. You'll want to arrive on the 5th for the welcome party, and then October 6th and 7th, full day. We're gonna have lunch for you every day on the 6th and 7th. We're gonna have special guests. It's gonna be absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so get your ticket. You're gonna get it for over half off if you get it now. All right, everyone. See you soon. Bye. Thanks for coming with us. Pardon my eye.